Welcome to the first Local Music Mondays on GTV3. I'm very excited to be here with Lucy Jones from the Harry Dean Stanton Fest and Scott Whiddon from the band Palisades. How's it going, you guys?
Doing really well.
Thanks for being here on our first episode.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This is an honor.
This is great.
Yeah. So let's first talk about Palisades. Tell me a little bit about your band.
Let's see here. I moved to Lexington in 2006, and I had left a really wonderful band called Cortez Del Mar, sort of an alt-country Americana kind of thing. I was really happy to move to Lexington. I moved here for a job at Transylvania University, but I really missed my band, and I've always been in music. I've always had bands and have been involved with booking and promoting shows and stuff like that since I was a kid. And what I fell into, almost by pure accident and grace, is one of the most amazing musical communities ever, with a great studio, several great studios in town, and a lot of great musicians. And I used to play for a band called Some Other Meanness. Through that band, I met a guy named Neil Bell, who was the drummer I've been dreaming about since I was 15 years old, who also happened to be the nicest guy in the world. And we just started to write songs together, kind of on the side, and next thing you know, we're playing shows and writing songs, and it kind of fell together naturally. I love the word Palisades a lot. The etymology of the word is it's a natural defense, making use of the materials that you have readily available, and to me that word's kind of a punk rock thing, just making do with what you got. So we're sort of a power pop, post-punk kind of thing. Mark Richardson is our bass player, and we play a lot around here. We put out a record a couple years ago, and getting ready to put out a whole bunch of material this upcoming year.
Great. And how'd you get hooked up with Miss Lucy here?
How did I get...
I think I recruited you. It was actually funny. After the first festival, we just exclusively had films that first year because we were just sort of flying by the seat of our pants and didn't really know what we wanted it to be yet. The second year, we kind of wanted to up the ante, and I wanted to do a musical event. And I had this idea. Repo Man's always been one of my favorite Harry Dean films, and so I had this idea, what if we got together a band that could just do the soundtrack, because it's one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. And I ran it by a friend of mine who's in a band, and he was like, well, yeah, it'd be fun, but you're never going to find a band that like has the chops to do it, that's going to put in the time to do it and the effort to do it. And I thought for a minute, and I was like, well, gosh, he's right. And then I said, no, he's not right. There's Scott Whiddon and there's Palisades, and they have such a work ethic and clearly like have this great punk rock sensibility, and I knew immediately that they could do it. And I asked Scott, and I didn't even have to like do the big pitch. Like I had the whole speech prepared, and you were just like, "Yeah, we'll do it."
I think you asked me at the Lantern.
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
I might have given you a drink or two.
Yeah, it might, probably. No, we jumped at the opportunity. When Neil and I first started this, there were two words we kept batting around. And I don't mean to sound cheesy or weird, but community and curation. And to be able to be a band, we're a three-piece. There's nowhere to hide in a three-piece. But to be able to draw upon and recruit different people from around town to take part in specific projects, like doing Repo Man, where we were a backing band but had Robbie Cosenza and Justin Thompson and Mikey T. And then the year after that, we did there was this Harry Dean Stanton film called The Miniskirt Mob.
Miniskirt Mob.
It's something to see. I really enjoyed it. And so it's a 60s mod sort of film, so we did an all-mod set, which was a lot of fun. And then we drew upon horn players from Big Fresh and Kate and John from Big Fresh, and the band got really big. And this year, we're doing something kind of similar where it's a curation project, not necessarily music from Escape from New York, but music sort of that era. Since we're escaping from New York, we're doing an all late 70s, a little early 80s, New York City, CBGB's, Max's Kansas City, a little Studio 54 kind of derived set with a bunch of great guests.
And when is that happening?
June 14th.
June 14th. So let's step back a little bit and tell everybody about the Harry Dean Stanton Fest. This is the fourth year.
It is the fourth year. I know, right? It's amazing. It sort of started as a wild hair. I'm involved with an organization called the Lexington Film League, and when they'd originally asked me to be part of it, they said, what would you like to bring to the table? And it was sort of, I felt like sort of one of those interview moments where you're just trying to like come up with an answer. And I said, I would love to do a festival for Harry Dean Stanton. And it had been something, I guess it's sort of been in the back of my mind, but I hadn't really thought about it till that moment. And then it took about a year, and then after a year, I was just like, oh wait, why haven't we done this? And when we finally decided to make a go of it, it came together together so seamlessly and so easily. Tom Thurman from KT just so happened to have been working on a documentary about Harry, and so that, I know, right? So that wound up being our first screening. We got to premiere that film. So it just came into line perfectly. It's obviously a tribute to Harry Dean Stanton. I've been calling him Kentucky's most prolific character actor, which I don't think is any stretch. He has 188 IMDb credits. He's one of these fellows where you say the name and he's not a household name, but he's a household face. Like if you show somebody his face, they're like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Pretty in Pink. That's the guy from Repo Man. That's the guy from Paris, Texas. And I've kind of figured out that showing somebody Harry Dean's face is sort of like a cinematic Rorschach test. Like when you see his picture, like whatever you identify him as, like says a lot about you as a moviegoer. So I think he's a phenomenal actor. Yeah. So we've always brought in a guest who he's worked with. The first year we had Hunter Carson, who starred with him in Paris, Texas. The second year we had Donnie Fritz, who'd done a number of different things with him. Third year we had Crispin Glover. This year we have Michelle Phillips. And every year we've tried to get Harry to come, and he basically says the same thing, which is, honey, I'm 80-something, whatever year is applicable at that moment, and I'm wore out. Just tell him I'm wore out. And this year, I guess Michelle Phillips called and said, Harry, come on, you just got to do this thing. Yeah. So he's joining us, which is amazing. Yeah. So it'll be his first time back in Kentucky this century. He was born in West Irvin and went to Lafayette and went to UK, so it's a big deal homecoming for him.
Right. And Harry will be here for the Sunday show?
Yes, the closing night screening, which is Dillinger, the 1973 John Milius film, which also stars Michelle Phillips, and we'll be showing that at the Kentucky Theater at 7 p.m., and they'll do a Q&A afterward, and then there's an after party following that.
And what are the other events?
Opening night is Cool Hand Luke, which is every year we've been doing a partnership with Downtown Lexington Corporation and their Fountain Films on Friday series. We felt so grateful to be involved in that. It's an amazing series. So we're going to be showing Cool Hand Luke outside under the stars that evening at dusk. Following that, we have a midnight screening of Repo Man. We keep trying to reach out and show other films, but Repo Man always comes back. We've shown it at 3 out of 4 festivals. The next day, it's John Carpenter Day at the library. So we're showing Christine at 2 p.m. and then Escape from New York at 7 p.m. and then the after party, obviously, to follow that at the Green Lantern. And then Sunday, it's Father's Day, so we've got a couple masculine films, which is not hard to find in the Harry Dean oeuvre. But we're showing Missouri Breaks, the sort of postmodern Western, at 2 p.m. with Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson, both of whom were longtime friends of Harry. And then 7 p.m., the Dillinger screening.
So this is great. I'm hearing a lot of collaboration here between you guys, between the Film League, the DLC, the Kentucky Theater, the Farish Theater.
It's been amazing.
Triangle Park.
We've been so fortunate in that everybody's been so supportive from the beginning and just wanting to step forward and be a part of it. I mean, it's been very collaborative, and we're so grateful for that. We would not be able to do it by ourselves.
Well, we're really grateful that you use so much of your energy to do this great thing. That's why 4 years in, we've got Harry coming back to town, right? Well, can we hear a little bit of music from for the Harry Dean Fest?
I've never played this song without a band, so this will be a nice little experiment. But this is one of my favorite songs. It's by the late, great Johnny Thunders, and he was in the New York Dolls, and he was in Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers. He was in Gang War with Wayne Kramer, which connects back to Narco, which connects back to Lexington. He was friends with Richard Hell, who grew up in Gardenside and was a Sayre kid and a basketball player here in town. And so
and it, of course, was the father of the punk aesthetic.
Right. Please kill me. So, so this is a song called "Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory." Doesn't pay to try. All the smart boys know why. Doesn't mean I didn't try. I just never know why. Feeling cold and all alone, and you're not at home. And when I'm home, big deal, still alone. Feel so restless I am. Beat my head against a pole. Try to knock some sense down to my bones. Even though they don't show, the scars are old. When they go, they let you know. Well, you can't put your arms around a memory. You can't put your arms around a memory. You can't put your arms around a memory. Don't try. Just a messed up kid. You got no name. You're living with me now. We're one and the same. Even though they don't show, my scars are so old. When they go, let you know. Okay, you can't put your arms around a memory. Can't put your arms around a memory. You can't put your arms around a memory. Don't try. Don't try.
Good job.
I love that song. So,
Sound-
and I love Johnny Thunders. So we do it a lot louder and a lot less pretty, but that's
Well,
how it
that
goes.
was awesome. So next weekend, Harry Dean Stanton Fest, and you guys will be playing on Saturday night. Tell me what else is going on with Palisades.
Oh goodness. Let's see here. We're lucky to have a good friend in Dwayne Lundy at Shangri-La Studios, and the newest Lexington legend, Tom Nato, the favorite son of Pennsylvania via Washington, D.C., who we grabbed here in this town and said, you can't leave because you're too good. He's an amazing arranger and producer and musician. And so we decided, I've always loved the idea of the EP and the single. There's like a punk and post-punk sort of lineage to it. It's short, in, out, done, and you get to kind of focus on the details. So over the course of the next year, we're putting out 3 4-song EPs, all on vinyl, short runs with great artwork from Neil Bell, digital downloads involved. It's 12 songs total. There'll be a couple little giveaways here in between. We'll have a couple of different release parties and events. Some will be all ages. Some will be 21 and up kind of stuff. Some will be at traditional kind of bar settings. Some will be at some very different kinds of locations. And we're excited about that. But the coolest thing about it is that people like Joe Drury from Summer Smoke, Robbie Casenza, Emily Hagahara, Chris Dennison, great musicians in this town have contributed to the recording and the arranging and setting the vibe for this whole little project. And I don't know. I don't think we could have done it without Lucy Jones kind of cheering us on and keeping the faith with us. So we're really grateful to her.
Mm-hmm. Is there somewhere our viewers can go to find out more about Palisades?
You can go to palisades.bandcamp.com. That's sort of our primary location right there. You can also go to Luxury and Riot, which is a YouTube channel. You can download our first EP, which is called Luxury and Riot, ripping off John Milton. And yeah, that was a fun record to make. The reason it's split up into 3 things, it's sort of like 3 different flavors. One's very much a pop kind of thing, and I love well-made pop music. One's very much a heavy record, and one is very much a collaborative, throw it up against the wall and see what sticks kind of record. So yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. And you can find us at palisades.ky at Facebook.
Great. You want to send us out with the Palisades song?
Sure. I need to tune this thing really, really quickly, if you don't mind. I really like alternate tunings. So. Perfect. I wrote this song driving home from the Green Lantern once. You must be amused at the fact that everyone loves you, falling at your feet, putting your name in the news. Wasn't in the scripts, a rough cut, a poor edit. They won't let you forget it. It's too soon to send back the invitations, to offer our regrets for your parlor games and your party tricks. A pretty is as pretty does, a pretty mess that never was. It's just who knows who you know. I told you once and I told you so. It wasn't in your social plans, just pocket sleeves and sleight of hand, majorettes and marching bands. And it's too soon to send back your invitations, to offer our regrets for your parlor games and your party tricks. It must be exhausting with your dilettantes and dance cards. It must be exhausting to go spinning around, spinning round, spinning round and around. So please accept my apology for your vintage dress catastrophe and your parlor games and your party tricks and your parlor games and your party tricks. That's on the new record.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
for
This is a
coming
whole lot of fun.
and
Thank you for having
and,
us.
It's a beautiful space too.
Yeah, we love the set, and we love our sign that made by local artist Graham Allen. We plan to do this Mondays from here on out. So any genre of music, local music, we want to hear from them. They can find me here at the Government Center. They can email me.
It's a deep bench to draw from.
There's a
so
very
many.
there's a very deep bench to draw from, and that's why we realized it was something we really needed to do. Thank you so much for the energy you guys put into these, the Harry Dean Fest and your band. It really
Lucy's a force of nature. So,
Scott Whiddon's voice of nature.
it really adds to the quality of life for all of us to you know, all the work the artists and musicians do in town, and just thank you so much for everything.
well, thank you
Thank
for
you
having us.
for the same.
Yeah.